ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रे अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for All session. Welcome Vasul Prabhu and Apurva Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So let us recite, we have been reciting the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We will continue for 2 more days and then we will begin with the next chapter. And you can refer to the previous class, maybe 2 days ago, not yesterday, but the day before. I actually went over the overview of this whole chapter, verse after verse. So you will get, so that when you recite the verse, you actually understand the meaning. But we are going to be reciting only the verses for now. So everyone, please chant along, keeping yourselves in mute. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, Purushottama Yoga, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. Sri Bhagavanuvacha Urdhvamulam Adha Shakham Ashwatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedavid Adhaschordhvam Prasritastasya Shakha Guna Pravriddha Vishaya Pravala Adhascha Mulanyanu कर्मानुबंधीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी निर्मानमोहाजितसङ्गदोषा अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसंज्ञैर्गच्छन्त्यमूढा पदमव्ययं तत् न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनः षष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यद् अवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात् श्रोत्रं चक्षुः स्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणम् एव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयान् उपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयतेऽखिलम् यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविद् एव चाहम् द्वाविमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते उत्तमः पुरुषस्त्वन्यः परमात्मेत्युदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्त्यव्यय ईश्वरः यस्मात्क्षरम् अतीतोऽहम् अक्षराद् अपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रथितः पुरुषोत्तमः यो मामेवम् असम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमम् स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदम् उक्तं मया नघ एतद् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत श्रीमद् भागवतम Canto 1, Chapter 1, texts 1 to 3. This is the prayers or the Mangalacarana offered by Srila Vyasadeva at the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, we have already discussed the meanings of the words and the verses. So just reciting now, please recite. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः. Now let's read today's Srimad Bhagavatam verse. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 4, The Atrocities of King Kamsa. And what did we read so far? After, you want to say? Go ahead. I can say, no, you tell me what we read yesterday. You remember what we read yesterday? Then?
Kamsa's ministers were giving him Kamsa's ministers were trying to seize his mind, all the realization he had gotten. He was saying how the demigods are all scared of him.
Yes.
And how if even Brahmaji, Vishnugan, and Sivji, if they were like really brave, then they would come and fight with him, but they're also scared of him. Otherwise, why would they hide?
Yes. And
Yeah. And then they said, but you should not like just take them lightly like that or anything, otherwise they can become like really
powerful.
powerful.
Very good. So she gave a gist of the whole thing. You know, young children, uh, their memories are pretty sharp. I just read it once yesterday. I would have to think, recollect, but this is good. Okay, so what is happening is Kamsa is now being advised by his ministers. So this is the day after, so the night when Krishna appeared and Vasudev brought baby Krishna to um, Gokul, and he brought the baby, the girl, Durga Devi, back. And then how after Kamsa tried to kill the baby girl, and then she appeared in the form of Durga Devi and told him that the person that would kill him is born somewhere else, so he should not torture Devaki anymore. And then Durga Devi disappeared. Then Kamsa realized that he is in a very precarious condition. The divine Durga Devi has appeared from my sister. So my sister must not be an ordinary person. And I have given her so much trouble. So immediately he opened up the iron shackles that tied Vasudeva and Devaki. He begged for forgiveness in so many ways. And then they also forgave him and they said, so they talked some philosophy, Bhagavad Gita philosophy, uh, that then finally, taking permission, like being completely pacified, that they are pleased and they are pacified. With that, Kamsa became very pleased and he went back to his residence from the prison house. So all this happened in the night. So the next morning, the first thing in the morning, he calls all his ministers, his counselors for a meeting to tell them what happened the night before. How Durga Devi said that the person that's going to kill him has taken birth somewhere else. Hearing this, now all the ministers are suggesting. So in the past couple of days, we read, what is the qualification of these ministers? They have no qualification. Huh? Na ati kovida. Kovida means one who is expert. They don't have any qualification of being expert in knowledge. They are not learned. They are not qualified to give advice. Still, they are giving advice to Kamsa, what he should do. This is the nature of asuras. They don't have knowledge, but still they like to pose themselves as very learned, and they want to pose themselves as teachers and guide people, actually misguide people. Anyway, so now what is it that they're saying? You just give us your order. We will kill all the babies that are born in the past 10 days. That means exactly what they said was, we will kill all the babies that are less than 10 days old, or just 1 or 2 days older than that, a few days older than 10. That means those who are born approximately in the past 10 days, we are going to kill all the babies. Where? In all cities, all villages, and all pasturing grounds. After saying this, they said, we know your prowess. How you don't have to forget these fear these demigods. When they hear your bowstring, the twang of your bowstring, they, out of fear, they flee from the battlefield. We have seen this. And like this, they go on and on. I can just read the uh, oops, the translations to you. Okay, 1 second. So, what are they saying? That share the screen. from here. So if what you have said is true, right, that the person that's going to kill you has already taken birth, O king of the Bhoja dynasty, beginning today we shall kill all the children born in all the villages, towns, and pasturing grounds within the past 10 days or slightly more. The demigods always fear the sound of your bowstring. They are constantly in anxiety, afraid of fighting. Therefore, what can they do by their endeavors to harm you? What fear do you have? These are so insignificant. The demigods are so insignificant. What else did they say? When the demigods are pierced by your arrows, which are discharged in all directions, that means Kamsa is so such a valorous, warrior on the battlefield, that he would shoot so many arrows, many arrows simultaneously in all directions. So when the demigods would get pierced by even one of these arrows, then what is their condition? They don't want to die. That means these arrows are so powerful, right? When they pierce, that they fear for their life. They don't want to die. So out of fear for their life, they run away from the battlefield. Instead of standing there and fighting, some of them literally run away from the battlefield. And others who have lost their weapons, they go in front of Kamsa, fold their hands like this, and they start glorifying Kamsa. Oh, you are so great, you are so wonderful, like that. And others, they beg Kamsa, please spare our lives, right? We are so fearful, don't kill us. And then what does Kamsa do? No. After that, they also said, so this is the condition of the demigods, right? They're running away from you. And who are the demigods? Who are you afraid of? Even the greatest of the demigods, like who are the three Guna avatars? Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva. Of course, Lord Vishnu is not a demigod, but he's also the Guna avatar. So the greatest, the Guna avatars in this universe, Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they themselves are afraid. Then what to speak of others? How? Lord Vishnu takes shelter in secluded places. Where? In the hearts of all living entities. He's hiding in the hearts of all living entities. Lord Shiva, he's gone to the forests where nobody else can come. In that way, he's keeping himself safe. And Lord Brahma, he sits in meditation. So you have no fear from them, right? And what to speak of other demigods like Indra and all the other demigods? They are powerless. They have no power. So really, you shouldn't fear these demigods like this. Who are instructing like this? These ministers are the enemies of the demigods who are envious of the demigods. Further, they talk about the demigods. They say these demigods, they can only show their courage. They can only show their courage when they are in a safe place. Like on the battlefield, it's not a safe place. Kshemaya means when you are in when you are in safety, maybe at home, or maybe you are having a discussion with some friends outside, right? There they can show their power, how courageous they are. They can only boast about their prowess when they are away from the battlefield, not while on the battlefield. What do you have to fear from such demigods? Don't worry about them. They cannot harm you in any way. So in this way, the ministers of Kamsa are flattering Kamsa. Of course, Kamsa was very powerful, no doubt about that. It is true that even the demigods were afraid of Kamsa. See, all these demons that we are going to read about in future, like Putana and Trinavarta, Aghasur, all these were servants of Kamsa. Such powerful demons, how did they become servants of Kamsa? Because they were defeated by Kamsa. So he is more powerful than them. That's why they became his servants. So it's true that even the demigods were afraid. That's why when any of these demons gets killed, all the demigods are showering flowers from the sky, celebrating. Finally, this great demon is killed, like that. So it is true that the demigods, the Kamsa was really powerful. But one more thing they say is, but we all, after saying all this, they're saying, we know, we have seen in the past that if any enemy, when you're fighting in the battlefield, if any enemy is without a weapon, right? Let's say he dropped his weapon, or his bow is broken, or his chariot is broken, he's without a chariot, or he is not in a state to fight anymore. Either he is, not in a mental condition, right, where he's able to fight. He can be drunk, or he can be asleep, or he may be busy doing something else. Hmm? He's not attentive, or he just doesn't want to fight at that moment. So, under these circumstances, we notice that you would not kill such an enemy. On the battlefield, if the enemy is without a weapon, without a chariot, or is not in a position to fight, we saw that you are so noble that you wouldn't even fight and kill such an enemy. But now is not the time for that righteousness, because if you show such righteousness now, the demigods, who are actually insignificant, but they will become very powerful. They will become so powerful that at one point it will be impossible to defeat them. So you should be alert, and you should do whatever you can, everything, under any circumstances, like you say, at any cost. You must suppress them now. So for that, the solution is you have to kill all these babies, so that we will ensure that your enemy is killed. So in this context, Srila Prabhupada in the purport said that according to Niti Shastra, when there is a disease, you should not rest until you cure the disease completely. Don't leave it half cured, because the remainder, whatever is remaining, it will come back in a more virulent way. Similarly, when there is a fire, you have to put it out completely. Don't leave a little bit of fire. That small fire, which you may think is not so harmful, can grow into a big fire if you are not attentive. And what is the third one? Debt. Debt. If you have any debt, make sure you pay it off completely. Don't leave some debt thinking that it's a small amount. Debt, disease, fire, you make sure it is completely uh, finished, right? Zero balance. Don't leave anything, even a little bit, because if you leave it, that can grow into a big amount in future, and that can create a havoc in your life. So similarly, here these ministers of Kamsa were telling him, of course the demigods are insignificant. We know how powerful you are. They cannot even stand in front of you. But you should not just be negligent. You should not ignore them. You should uh, suppress them now, like that. And this is not the time for your righteousness, because he may think killing small babies, this is not right. Of course, he killed already. He killed the first 6 babies of Devaki. But this is after he got enlightenment, right? Hearing from Durga Devi. After that, maybe his mind has changed now. He wants to be, righteous. But they said, no, this is not the time. You must kill your enemy at any cost. So that's what we saw. And I think we were supposed to read Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary we didn't cover yesterday. Let me take a look at that. So for the verse, when the demigods are bereft of their chariots, when they forget how to use weapons, when they are fearful or attached to something other than fighting, or when their bows are broken and they have thus lost the ability to fight, your majesty does not kill them. For that verse, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, the demons continue speaking to Kamsa. Your sense of righteousness increases the strength of the demigods. Give up this sense of righteousness, for this is not the time for dharma. Huh? Yeah, so-called well-wishers. And in the next verse, what is the next verse? The demigods boast uselessly while away from the battlefield. Only where there is no fight can they show their prowess. Therefore, from such demigods we have nothing to fear. As for Lord Vishnu, he is in seclusion in the core of the hearts of the yogis. As for Lord Shiva, he has gone to the forest. And as for Lord Brahma, he is always engaged in austerities and meditation. The other demigods headed by Indra are devoid of prowess. Therefore, you have nothing to fear. So there Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, this verse is spoken to show that, am I sharing the screen of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur? This one I'm sharing? You think so? Okay. You see, you're seeing white screen with not the peach one, but the white one. I don't hear anything.
No, Mataji. It's
you're
still
not-
the. Yeah.
Oh, you're not seeing? Okay.
No.
Thank you. Here, this one. Okay. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, this verse is spoken to show that the demons have no fear of the demigods. The demigods display courage where there is no danger. We read that also, right? And show pride outside the battlefield by boasting and talking uselessly. Because you are stronger, you should have no fear of even Hari or Shiva. Hari prefers solitary places. Even if the demigods have strength, why do they not come out and fight? Why does Hari hide within the hearts of the people? Why does Shiva stay in the forest in Ilavrita Varsha without mixing with people? Nonetheless, next verse. Because of their enmity, our opinion is that the demigods should not be neglected. Why? Because of their enmity. So remember yesterday we discussed in this context, when you have that enmity, even though you may not have so much power, you can prove to be very powerful. From Bhagavad Gita, I told you why Duryodhan considered Pandava's army to be complete, whereas Kaurava's army to be incomplete, because Pandava's army was protected by Bhima, who had this enmity. That means he was determined to destroy the enemy at any cost. Because he had that type of zeal, certainly they're going to be victorious. Whereas on the Kaurava's side, they were protected by Bhishma Dev, who didn't have that type of drive to destroy the enemy. Rather, he wanted good for both. He wanted the Pandavas also to be happy, the Kauravas also to be happy. If the commander-in-chief is like that, how can you expect victory for such an army? That was Duryodhan's argument. So similarly, here also, because these enemies, even though they are less powerful, right, very insignificant compared to your power, but because they have enmity toward you, you should not neglect them. That's the point. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying here that so this is Srila Prabhupada's translation. Because of their enmity, our opinion is that the demigods should not be neglected. Therefore, to uproot them completely, engage us in fighting with them, for we are ready to follow you. Then the commentary is, the demon said to Kamsa, though the demigods are weak, the enemy cannot be neglected. This is according to Niti Shastra. Again, Niti Shastra, right? The enemy may be weak, but thinking the enemy is weak, don't be negligent. Now, next verse, text 38. Yatha mayonge samupekshito nribhir na shakyate rudha padaschikitssitum yathendriyagrama upekshitas ripur mahan baddha balo na chalyate yatha mayonge samupekshito nribhir yatha amaya. Amaya means it's a disease, right? So Amaya is a disease. We read it elsewhere also. When you eat too much ghee or milk products, right? Then you get this disease called Amaya when you eat too much ghee. then what is the treatment for that disease? You have to again eat ghee, which is treated or medicated ghee. By eating medicated ghee, you treat the disease amaya, which is caused by overeating ghee, like that. So that is actually explained in a different context. In the first canto, we will see that by doing karma, what is the cause for our bondage in this material world? Fruitive activity or karma. Fruitive activity means you work for the material results. Because you want to enjoy the material results, you work. This is karma or dharma. The karma means that which is done according to scriptural injunctions. There are prescriptions, right? Who should do what type of karma? It is prescribed already. It's not that, without scriptural injunctions, any work that you do, that's not called karma. That is called vikarma. But Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam. Krishna is saying, I created the 4 Varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Based on what? Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. Based on their nature. Based on the nature, I have divided the society into Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And then, according to the nature, there is prescribed karma for each Varna also. How we will know? This we will know from the Shastra. Which person, first of all, you have to know which Varna I belong to. How you will know which Varna you belong to? So this is a whole system for the whole entire society. It's not like all of a sudden now one person will start and figure out. It's not like that. There is a system. The Vedic society, it's a society. So there, when the boy is 6 or 7 years old, he is sent to Gurukul. In Gurukul, the Guru will identify the Varna of that boy by observing. The Guru is also expert. He is trained to identify based on the quality, based on the nature. He'll assign some activities, and by the response, he can understand what is the Varna. Is he a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra? Like that. And then he will train him accordingly. And now this person will live his life by performing the duties which are prescribed for that Varna. And then he will be doing that work. Not that I will do this job when it is profitable. Even if there is no profit, even if it is loss, this can be seen even now. Some remnants here and there you will see in India, in small towns and villages. People, generation after generation, you can see either shopkeepers or farmers. I think now it's kind of dwindling, but still somewhere you can see. It's not like they're very rich and they have lot of wealth, but they have this sense of dharma. This is my dharma and I will do this, whether there is profit or not. You'll see small shops, even if there is no profit, you don't see people coming and crowding around to buy things from them, but every day very religiously on time they come, they clean the shop, they put whatever small things they have that they have to sell, and they will sit there all day from this time to this time, and very simple, whatever they follow a schedule of life, they follow a lifestyle based on their varna. This is called dharma. What happens when you follow your dharma like this? Following dharma, it's not meant for earning wealth, and with that wealth now I can improve my standard of life and I can live comfortably, so that in old age I will not be in misery. I will have my security, my social security, and I can live peacefully. That's not the idea of dharma. Karma and dharma are synonymous. When you say karma, that means dharma only. Dharma which is prescribed in the Shastra, that is only karma. What is the purpose of this dharma? Of course, when you do dharma, you will get artha. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So artha means what? You'll get some wealth, or it can come in any way. Dharma, if you're a musician and if you're singing, then what is the artha that you get? Your skill is improving, right? And then you'll get fame. That is also artha. The fame that you're getting, the recognition that you're getting, that is also artha. The result that you're getting by doing your dharma, that is artha. Then what do you do with that result? With that result, you will enjoy it. isn't it? If you get money, then you'll buy something and you'll eat, or maybe you'll, something, you'll enjoy it, go for a vacation, or, if you have more money, buy a car, or maybe buy a house, something like that, right? You work, dharma, by work, you'll get artha. With that artha, kama, sense gratification. You satisfy your senses and you think this is the goal of life. This is called fruitive activity. Karma, this is fruitive activity. Work according to scriptures. Do your dharma. Then by that you will get artha. By that artha, then you will enjoy the result, your senses. This is called karma. But is this the goal of giving us dharma in Shastra? No. Fourth one, what is the fourth Purushartha? Moksha. You're not supposed to work simply so that you can earn nicely and then you can live a comfortable life and then pass on your wealth to the next generation. And then that's not the goal of life at all. That's not why Shastra has given us karma and dharma. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The purpose is now it is, what Varna you belong to. It's not based on birth. Not that because I'm born from a Brahmana, so I'm a Brahmana. No, no. It may have some advantage. Because you're born in a Brahmana family, you'll get that type of training. You have to judge only based on guna, the qualities. So if you're trained like that, yes, you're a Brahmana. Not because of taking birth in a Brahmana family, but because of being trained as a Brahmana, therefore you're a Brahmana. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of a judge, high court judge, right? A high court judge is, he has a son. You can respect that son as the son of the judge, right? But can you call, because he's the son of a judge, he's also a judge? He has a good chance because his father is a judge. The father can guide him properly and train him. So in future, he can also become a judge. But until and unless he passes the exam and he gets that position of a judge, you cannot call him a judge. Similarly, a Brahmana's son cannot become a Brahmana automatically. We have the title, surname, and based on that, we call ourselves, I'm a Brahmana, I'm a Kshatriya, I'm a Vaishya. In a proper Vedic society, the son of a Brahmana is actually trained as a Brahmana, therefore he is accepted as a Brahmana. But in today's world, do you see that type of training? Then what is the meaning of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra in today's world? Who is acting like everybody is in the same box? Everyone goes into the software industry, or everyone wants to become a doctor, or everyone wants to become a lawyer, isn't it? So where is that Varnashrama? It's not there. Again, coming back to the point, what is the purpose of deciding what Varna you belong to? And then after you find out which Varna you belong to, you carry out your duties. In that, while you're carrying out your duties, the whole idea is we are in this bodily concept of life. We think we are this body. As soon as I ask you, who are you? What will you say? My name is this. I am the son or daughter of, so and so. I am from this community. I am from this family, like that, right? So when we say that, then we are, what is my identity? My identity is based on this body. My identity is based on this body. Then I'm remaining in this bodily concept. As long as I'm in this bodily concept, there's no question of liberation. That means repeatedly you have to take birth. After this body, you'll get another body. And then again, you'll live, grow, marry, have children, you'll become old, you'll die. Again, you'll take birth. And what type of body you get, you don't know. You can get you see so many life forms around. You can get any form. You can go to different planets. This has been going on and it will go on. So the idea of the Vedas are guiding us to come out of this cycle of birth and death. You come out of this cycle of birth and death. How to do that? Now I'm attached to doing karma, right? I do work. I have my shraddha, my faith in karma. So Shastras are saying, okay, you do your karma. This karma is the cause of my bondage. Why I came here? Can you tell me? Can anyone explain why I'm discussing all this now? What were we reading in that verse? Let's see. Nobody's with me. Okay. We were reading about this disease called Amaya. Amaya. Amaya is a disease which is caused by overeating ghee, eating a lot of ghee. The disease is treated by eating ghee again. But this ghee is treated ghee. You don't just eat ghee directly, you eat ghee which is treated or medicated. By eating that, this disease is treated. So I was explaining to you where this word Amaya comes. It comes in the first chapters of the first canto, where the conversation between Narad Muni and Vyasadeva. So there, Vyasadeva, Narad Muni is the guru of Vyasadeva. So Narad Muni is telling Vyasadeva that everyone is already attached to doing karma in this world. What is karma? I told you just now. Fruitive activity. You work so that you'll get the result, and the result you want to enjoy. Either in this life or next life also. People do big, big yagyas so that in the next life, they will go to heavens and they can enjoy even better, like a demigod. So the result, you want to enjoy material happiness. That is karma, either in this life or next life. And this attachment to the result of my work is the cause of my bondage. And while doing that work also, I'm thinking I'm the doer. I need the credit, right? When I create something, copyrights. I have created it. This is mine. Everyone should know I did it. This actually keeps us in this bodily, it keeps us bound, shackled in the bodily concept of life. So this karma is the cause of our bondage. Kartritva buddhi means doership. I am the doer. And attachment to the result. After doing whatever result comes, I should get that result. These two things are actually binding us to this world. Now, the treated ghee is what? You do karma. Karma which is cause of bondage, the same karma can liberate you. How? You do karma, but change the quality of that karma. You treat that karma. How will you treat that karma? You do karma, but don't have attachment to the result. Whatever result you get, you go and offer that result to Bhagavan. Okay? You work, and the result that you get, don't make big plans how you're going to enjoy the result of your work. You get your paycheck, and then don't make plans with this. Now I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to do this and that, and I'm going to enjoy my life. No. All that wealth, you offer it to Krishna. Of course, you have to pay your bills to live and all that, but offer it to Krishna. You offer all that result to Krishna. That's one thing. Second thing is, doing karma is not easy. It's very hard. All of us have experience of this. Working, right? It gives you pain. Sometimes it gives some pleasure. You get some recognition, some name, some bonus. Sometimes you get some pleasure. Sometimes you get most of the time you get pain. But whatever pain, and sometimes there is profit, sometimes there is loss, sometimes there is happiness, sometimes there is distress, right? Sometimes there is honor, sometimes there is dishonor. In the course of doing your karma, tolerate them. But don't stop your karma. Tolerate the pain and pleasure and continue to do your karma. And whatever result you get, you offer it to the Lord. This is the medicine for the karma which is going to bind you. The disease is bondage. How can the disease be cured? The cause for that disease is karma. That means attachment to the results. The way to treat that disease is again karma, but the quality of karma has to be changed without attachment to the result, without the attitude of doership. And one more thing. What is the driving force according to, economics? Srila Prabhupada quotes this often, right? When you have a family, then a man he has the impetus to be responsible and work nicely. Why? Anyway, let's put that aside. But one more point here is not being attached to the result, not taking credit, coming out of that doership. The third one is, okay, if the result is not mine and I'm not the doer either, then I don't have to give my 100% काम चलाने लायक. I'll do something little bit, right? But I won't give my heart. But if you are said, you'll be the number one, your name will be, in a golden plaque, it'll be shown there, then you'll work so hard for that, isn't it? Again, it's related to result only, attachment to result. But if that is not there, then if you will be with everyone else and you will not be given any recognition, then you will not have that impetus to give your 100%. So all this Krishna summarizes in one verse. Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhir mate sangostva karmani. That means you have a right to do your duty. You're not entitled to the fruits of your action. Don't consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your action, and don't be attached to not doing your duty. Because I'm not getting the results, so I won't do my duty. That is also not correct. You should give your 100%, and the result you should give off to Krishna. Don't claim the results. Is this easy? Not at all. For anyone who is conditioned, it's not easy. He will not have the drive to work. If you tell him you won't get any paycheck, he won't have any drive to go to work every day. He won't go with the same enthusiasm anymore, even if he's forced to work, isn't it? But this is the practice. In Nishkama Karma Yoga, this is the practice. What is the result of this? In spite of knowing that I will not get the result, and even though there is so many oppositions, right? There's difficulties, there is obstacles, there is suffering, there is backbiting, dishonor, insult. You tolerate all this, and even pains and pleasures also. You have to tolerate, not that consider yourself the doer and enjoy. Tolerate. By tolerating, what happens is you will come to the realization that all these pains and pleasures are happening to the body. They're not happening to me. That is when you'll be able to tolerate it. That realization will come when you're committed to do that duty with this consciousness. What will happen is it will lift you above this bodily consciousness. You will come to realize that I'm not this body, but I'm a spirit soul. And side by side, if you are actually hearing from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sri Krishna, and we are eternal servants of Krishna, our only duty is to render devotional service to Krishna. If you are hearing this also, then not only will you rise above the bodily concept that I'm not this body, but also you will realize by this association of devotees that I'm a servant of Krishna. It becomes very easy to come to the platform of pure devotional service. So Nishkama Karma is also useful for devotees. By this Nishkama Karma, very easily, it's like when there is dry grass, a small spark of fire is enough to set it ablaze. Like that, when we are practicing, if we are practicing Nishkama Karma, that means, because we are doing karma anyway, it is not that karma is being recommended. The fact is we are doing karma. Just change the quality of that karma. Don't work because now I will get so much in return, and with that I will do this and that. Don't make such plans. Don't make such plans. You work understanding that actually you don't need to work. The reason I'm working is because I still have faith. I don't have full faith in Krishna. It's a fact. We are all working because we still don't. There are devotees who just completely depend on Krishna, right? Even if they work, they're not thinking that this work is what is providing for me. Krishna is providing for me. Even if they work, that is just superficial, external. They don't care. They do that work, but they know that they are being protected and maintained by Krishna alone. So we want to come to that consciousness of pure unalloyed devotional service. So to come to that consciousness, while we are doing karma anyway, this karma should be nishkama karma. So nishkama karma is the medicine for karma. Nishkama karma will bring you out of the bondage which is caused by karma. To explain that, there Narad Muni gives the example of this disease, Amaya. Amaya is a disease caused by eating ghee, too much ghee. And the way that disease is cured is by eating ghee one more time. But this time this ghee is treated, medicated. And that cures you of that disease. So just on that word, Amaya, I went here to tell you about this significance of Nishkama karma to come out of bondage in this material body. There's one more example. This is given by Srila Jiva Goswami in the Sandarbhas. When your body is burnt, right? When your body is burnt, you know how to treat that burn? By burning again. Yes, you'll be surprised, but not, you have to know how to do it. Don't just experiment it. But to treat a burn is by burning that place again, and that actually cures that burn. But you should know how to do it. Similarly, here, Amaya disease. So this is a different context, but I was just telling you this because of that word Amaya. Anyway, Yatha Amaya, this disease, the way this Amaya disease, Ange Samupekshito Nribhir. Ange means Anga in the body, Samupekshitaha, being neglected. So if you neglect this disease, if you don't treat this disease Amaya, after it comes, if you just neglect it, then what will happen? Na shakyate rudha padaish chikitsitum. It is not possible to cure it when it becomes acute. That means in the initial stages of this disease, you'll be able to treat it. But if you just leave it, it becomes incurable. Right? It becomes so acute that it becomes incurable. Yatha amayonge samupekshito nibhir. If it is upeksha means to neglect. When it is completely, samupeksha means completely neglected. Nibhir means by men, by human beings. Na shakyate rudha padas chikitsitum. Chikitsitum is treated. Rudha padas means when it is very, very acute. Like, yoga rudha. What is yoga rudha? When it is acute, like advanced stage. Yathendriya grama upekshitas tatha indriya. The way indriya grama upekshitas tatha. If you neglect the senses, what is indriya grama? The senses. What is that verse? Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabam mana. The senses are so strong. That verse says the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a person of discrimination, right? Who is trying to control them. Like a person is trying to control the senses, but the senses are very, very strong. So what should you do? Ragadvesha vimukhtaistu indriyas. What's that verse? 264. Ragadvesha vimukhtaistu Vishayan indriyaischaran. Anyway, I'll tell you the translation. You can look up. It's 264. So there it is said that one who has regulated his senses, being free from this raga and dvesha, attachment and aversion, being free from attachment and aversion, when one regulates his senses, then he can get the complete mercy of the Lord. That means regulation of the senses is important. If you don't regulate the senses, then they will become so powerful. The senses are actually dull, Senses are lesser compared to the mind. The mind is in the mode of goodness. Senses are less. Mind and intelligence are superior to the senses. But still, if you just leave them, if you neglect them, then the senses will control even your mind and intelligence. They will drag you down. That's why you should not neglect your senses. So here in this verse, the ministers of Kamsa are saying, the way this Amaya disease, when it is neglected, it becomes so acute and incurable, or the way the senses, when neglected, they also become uncontrollable. In the same way, Ripur Mahan Baddha Balona Chalyate. Ripu means what? When there is a great enemy, Ripu is enemy. Ripur Mahan means a great enemy. When you have a very powerful opponent, Baddha Balo na chalyate, right? If he becomes very strong, then he cannot be controlled. So he may be an insignificant enemy today, but if you don't control him now, very soon he can become invincible. You will not be able to defeat him. The way a disease, when neglected, becomes incurable, or the senses, when uncontrolled, when you neglect the senses, neglect to control the senses, neglect to regulate the senses, then the senses become uncontrolled. In the same way, a powerful enemy, if you neglect him, then he also cannot be controlled in future. So what are they saying? These demigods should not be neglected. You should control them now. As a disease, if initially neglected, becomes acute and impossible to cure, or as the senses, if not controlled at first, are impossible to control later, an enemy, if neglected in the beginning, later becomes insurmountable. Well, we don't have time to cover another verse. We will continue it tomorrow. But we can read Srila Prabhupada's Leela Amrita today. We have a few minutes. What happened? Okay. Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita. Does anyone have any questions? Actually, we have a few minutes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I have one question related to what you were teaching. Like we should do Nishkam
Karma.
Karm, but what we work is actually completely opposite. So in companies, we like set goal at the start of the year, and by the end of the year, you need to reach that goal. Otherwise, you will be judged that you did not meet expectation or something.
Correct.
So how do we have a mindset to do Niskam Karm in this case?
Right. Actually, that is why this whole system of work that we have, this is going, it's like going against current. See, as I told you, the way the scriptures have designed our lifestyle is to bring us to the state of rising above this bodily concept, to realize that I'm not this body. That's the whole idea of everything that is given in the Vedas. We have some things, right? There is marriage. Why marriage is there? Not that now we will live happily ever after. That's not the idea. The idea is at a certain age, you're supposed to give it up. With that intention, you enter into marriage. There are 4 ashrams: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. So even entering into grihastha ashram, which is comfort, right? And there is some sense gratification, there is some, pleasure, but that's not the goal of life. The Vedas are actually giving us a plan to ultimately come to the stage of moksha, right? To get liberated. Then whatever program that is given to us, what type of work to do, is also in line with that goal of bringing us out of this bodily concept of life. Now, if you look at the system in the world today and the jobs that are being offered, what is their goal? When you look at all the ads, what do the ads show? Enjoy as much as you can. Forget rules. I don't want rules, isn't it? That means have sense gratification to the maximum. And that is considered to be the success of life. And then such people are the ones who are setting our goals, how you should work. When you work under such a master, it is very difficult for us to pursue spiritual life, because you want to go towards pure devotional service, and this job and this atmosphere is trying to guide you towards materialism. They set goals that you have to work more and more and get more result and enjoy your life. That's the goal of life. This type of attitude, when you will read further in Bhagavad Gita, towards the last chapters, Krishna explains very nicely this mentality, right? He speaks about the different modes: sattva guna, rajoguna, and tamoguna, the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. This type of work, which keeps you in the identification of the body, is in the mode of passion and ignorance. This is passionate mode. You have this goal and you have to reach this goal. So when you are in the mode of passion and in the mode of ignorance, it reacts with your devotional service. Devotional service means we have not entered into pure devotional service yet. We are still trying to build that faith in devotional service right now. When I say devotional service, I mean pure devotional service. We are trying to build our faith so that we can be 100% engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. And for that, we are hearing from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. When you are in the mode of goodness, you will be able to understand the message as it is said in the Shastra. You'll be able to accept it. But when you're in the mode of passion and ignorance, it will repel. That knowledge will repel your consciousness. You will not be able to accept it. That's one outcome. The other outcome is, when you hear it, you will understand it differently. You'll give your own interpretation to that. You'll give a different meaning to that. So in this way, you will not be able to come to the right conclusion and thereby reach your goal. You will not be able to reach your goal. So now, coming back to your question, what to do today? I'm working here. So understand that, first of all, you have to understand this is not the right situation to be in if I actually want to progress in devotional service. But somehow, at the present moment, I'm in this situation. I have to continue. So I have to continue means you should pray to Krishna. You should pray to Krishna to make an arrangement in a way where you can actually practice devotional service in a sattvic atmosphere, where there is sattva guna, which is favorable for devotional service, where you're not pushed to work to achieve material goals. But meanwhile, while you're already there, at least for the time being, what should be your consciousness? What should be your consciousness while you're doing it already now?
Trying to be not attached to the result, but
Yes. Yes.
okay.
Don't be attached to the result, and tolerate the pleasures and pains that are coming. And because you don't be attached to the result, and the result that comes, you offer it to the Lord. Engage the result that you get in the Lord's service. By that, what happens is you will not be implicated by that work. When you want the result, that's what binds you to that activity.
Yeah.
So don't.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try, Mataji. It's not so easy, but
Not at all. Not at all.
yeah.
It's not easy, certainly. But one thing is we are also chanting Hare Krishna side by side. You're worshipping the Lord. So this is Nishkama Karma Yoga is a practice actually meant for the Gyanis. The Gyanis are not devotees. Their goal is, I want to come out of this body. I want to be liberated. I want to go and merge into Brahman. So Nishkama Karma Yoga is a method which is it is a practice which is required for the Gyanis. But it is there in Bhagavad Gita, because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Karma Yoga, right? And he gives Bhakti Yoga also. But he says, finally, you surrender unto me. That means after giving all this is Krishna's style. He'll put everything in front of you. He will tell you what is the best, and he will say, now you choose what you want. He will tell you also what is the best. It's not like he won't tell. He will tell this is the best thing to do, but he will leave it up to you. You choose what you want. So ultimately we have to do bhakti only. But because we have not come to the state of doing bhakti 24 hours, we can take some help from this method also. So Nishkama Karma, it's not useless for devotees. We can also use it because it will bring us just this exercise of not being attached to the result. That exercise itself will bring you to the mode of goodness. This mode of goodness will bring you out of bodily designation, which is favorable to devotional service. So it will only be a plus for you. It won't react with your devotional service. There's no harm. But for you, you're also doing direct devotional service. Chanting Hare Krishna, this is direct devotional service. Shravanam, now hearing Bhagavad Gita, this is direct devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. These are all limbs of bhakti, direct devotional service. Our goal is to be doing direct devotional service 24 hours. But now I'm not able to do that. I'm doing karma. I have to do karma. But even while doing karma, if you're able to, in your mind, think of Krishna, that means you can even be remembering the Bhagavad Gita verses that we recite. That is also bhakti. Or you can simply be chanting with your lips, or sometimes in the mind also you can be chanting. In the back of your mind, Hare Krishna, Krishna. You can practice. This is the best. That's the goal where we want to go. This Nishkama Karma and all these things are helping tools, that's all. But the goal is to be doing direct devotional service 24 hours. So we don't necessarily, put our effort in the tools so much. Our endeavor is to be able to chant Krishna's name all the time, rendering direct devotional service to Krishna all the time. But because we don't have that faith, we become tired, right? After chanting for 1 hour, 2 hours, now enough. Now I have to do something else. So when you're doing something else at that time, when you're doing karma, don't be attached to the result. Offer that result to the Lord, but try to increase the time that you're engaged in direct devotional service. You increase that. So hearing comes under that, chanting comes under direct devotional service, worshipping the Lord, bowing down in front of the Lord, remembering the Lord, telling someone else about Krishna, reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all this comes under direct devotional service. Increase this time more and more. Like if you have 24 hours, try to fill that with all these different direct devotional service activities. But when we don't have faith, we won't be able to do. It's not easy to do like that all day long. For someone to be able to do that, they should have that faith. When you get enough faith, that's all you want to do all the time, that means you've come to the platform of pure devotional service, when you want to do only that. But now when you don't have it, then these are the other things you can do to help you to come there. So your first endeavor should be to try to remember Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, try different means, right? Just with your lips, try to chant in your mind, right? When you're taking bath, when you're walking, at all times, try to remember Krishna, chant. Or you have, a picture of Krishna, remember. This is what devotees want to do. Apart from that, when you're working and when you have to deal with this world, at that time, then how to offer that work to Krishna? Offer the result to Krishna. Don't be attached to the results of Krishna like that. Was that helpful?
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji,
Accept.
can I add something? Because
Yes,
just a practical experience, like the Prabhu is asking.
Ah.
I can just share, my experience of 20 years in the industry and how it works and how it gives us an opportunity to do indirect preaching also, right? Because if you, as you said, you begin your day with chanting, hearing, so like all these 9 processes that we do, like first we hear, then we chant, then we do our puja, then we read, then we start our day. So as Prabhu was saying, yes, we have to set a goal, and we do, everybody does, right? Because that is the company needs, and you can just go with the flow, set a goal, but don't get too attached that, okay, you know what, I am going to achieve the goal. Leave it up to Krishna. Krishna, this is what I'm doing for you. Like, definitely we are working, if we are giving all our results to Krishna, and we are working, we have a family, we have to pay our bills, those are all there. And what else are we doing, right? If that is the consciousness, in my experience, so many people have come and asked me, how are you able to put so many hats in a day and still you are the same while you are leaving the office? You don't get agitated, you don't get frustrated, and work is done on time. That gives me an opportunity to talk about Srila Prabhupada and our teaching and how we lead our life. And as you said, Mataji, Maya attacks, I have seen that. They will, you said that you have to tolerate, right? What comes with that? Sometimes you will get a very bad boss, like who will be just yelling and screaming for no reason. That also comes. And when it comes, what helped me is the lecture that I hear from our from our gurus and, all present Guru Brindas. I heard a lecture from His Holiness Radhanath Swami. He was telling that no matter what situation you are in life, you have a bad boss, you have a bad husband, you have a bad spouse, whatever. These are all your karma. And if you don't face it and you run away, you are, no matter what, you have to face it again. If not this lifetime, next lifetime. So then I had a boss who was never ever I have found, like 2 years in my life. Like nobody could work with her. But I remember Maharaj all the time. I have to deal with her, because if I run away, leave this job and go, I'll get a similar boss I get. I have to finish my karma here. End of the day, Mataji, people will come and tell me, hats up to you, how are you putting? Then again, I get an opportunity to say that how I am doing, right? So I have control on myself. I don't have control on our behavior. She can do whatever she has to do. I just have to utilize my studies, my, teachings of ISKCON, where I belong. It gives little opportunity to say. And then eventually, one day, Mataji, she called and she blasted me like anything. Like she could use any word that came to her mouth. Like, I did cheat, I did this, I did that. So many things she told me. That time I was just praying to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, to give me the strength and intelligence how I'm going to face it. It was a closed door, right? So after she said everything, I just looked at her. I said, thank you very much. But whatever you are telling me, that is, if I cheat like this, it's not going to make me or break me for this much money, right? Till today, I have never given opportunity to anyone to point finger at my honesty, my integrity, my dignity. These 3 things I carry with me by mercy of my guru, my spiritual master. And I'm not going to stay in this room for a second, because if I say stay, I might say something that I will disrespect you because you are my boss. I came out, Mataji, from there. That day I realized that as we all read, but sometimes we don't understand how Krishna protects. Then that day I saw that I'm not a devotee, not at all. I'm just trying. But how Krishna helps. She did touch every point of mine. Till today, like, I carry that. I moved out. Some or other, I don't know what happened. The whole company was with me. Even the CEO of the company came to my door and stood that, yes, like, are you okay? Are you? I said, yeah, I'm totally fine. Then after 2 weeks, she was threatening me that she's going to take me out of the job. She had to leave the job. She had to leave and go. So every opportunity we get, we just have to remember who we are, our identity, not that I am such and such, like, who I am, like who am I representing? That's what I carry. Who am I representing? Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj. Whatever act I do, people will like, okay, how is she remaining so quiet? Now I think wherever I have worked, people, they know Krishna, they talk about Krishna. They will call me now also. They will say, I think Krishna has a plan, white body, doesn't know who is Krishna, but they say that. So that is what, like, Prabhuji, like, I know we have a goal, we have to say it, but if we leave it to Krishna, you will see Krishna will give you all the intelligence, all the thing, like, you can still finish your work within 7-8 hours, more productive, and you can still continue your life. You can be like Guru Maharaj Jayapataka, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj always tells, there is only one life for a devotee. There is no material, no spiritual. It's all one. When we put Krishna in this, it becomes spiritual. If we take him out, then it becomes material. So there is no balance between material, spiritual. If you put Krishna in the center, then you are always spiritual. That's all. Like, just to add.
Just giving the, what I was explaining was from the philosophical point of view. So
I know, that's why I said practical, like, whatever I am facing, I know Prabhu might be facing the same thing. So I just wanted to just share my
but yeah, that line is there. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Yeah. So that line is certainly there, because yesterday, as I was explaining in Chaitanya Charitamrita class, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was a big, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu means after a couple of hundred of years, after the, Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, after that, there was a period when there was Sahajiyism. That means thinking that we are devotees, everything, even material life was also considered as devotional service. So that danger is always there if we don't understand clearly what is pure devotional service, what is material consciousness, what is pure unalloyed devotional service, what is mixed devotional service. If it were not important, why would the acharyas take the pain to explain all the different types of bhakti? There are different types of bhakti. There is Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, and Yoga Mishra Bhakti, then Aroga Siddha Bhakti. Within that also several categories. There are 14 types he gives in Bhakti Sandarbha. Srila Jiva Goswami explains. That means really scrutinizingly understanding the science of bhakti, how it works. If we don't understand, what the problem will be is, we will think that anything that I'm doing, that is also pure devotional service. Then that is not going to be beneficial for us. It will not take us to the destination. If we put everything in the same basket and if we think this is also pure devotional service, because for devotees, when we say devotees, you have to see at what level of devotional service am I. When you say what level, that means where is my consciousness? Am I actually identifying with my body or am I identifying? So that is why, according to definitions, we understand what is pure devotional service, what is mixed Karma Mishra Bhakti means you're doing some part of the day, you're chanting direct devotional service, you're doing, and some part of the day, you're also doing karma. Within that also, there is categorization. If you're doing that devotional service and karma, if you're doing it with the desire for liberation, even amongst us devotees, there will be persons who are chanting Hare Krishna, knowing that at the end I will get liberation. Yes. And there will be some people who will be chanting Hare Krishna. Even after taking initiation, I will chant Hare Krishna so that I will get, everything will be fine in my family. No one will fall sick because now I am in Krishna's shelter. He will take care of my family. My children will be fine. My son will get job. My daughter will get a husband. Like this, they think. Can you call this pure devotional service? Because I'm in the shelter of Krishna, he has to take care of all my material things. Can you call this pure devotional service? No. According to definition, no. Anyabhilashita shunyam. Jnana karmadi. No karma. Jnana karmadi anavritam. Anukulyena Krishnanushilam. This is pure devotional service. That is the goal of life. We want to go there. So first of all, understand the goal. Secondly, understand where I am, and then walk that path to the destination. So to say that material life and spiritual life, for devotees, there is no material life, it's not correct to say that. Depends on which devotee you are. Right?
No,
Depends on the
I'm not
person.
saying. I am saying that His Holiness Japataka Maharaj said that because one person asked how to balance material life and spiritual life. Then he said there should not be two lives like that. It is
Right.
always one life.
Right.
Like, you cannot say that I have a material life, I have a spiritual life. That
Yes.
is how he was explaining that if you have $100, if you don't have one in it and you have 1,000 zeros, doesn't mean anything. You have to put one in front, then only you will get the full thing. That one is Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, that is what. Yeah,
Yes.
no, I understand the philosophy. I was just talking about our general life because we are leading that life every single day to become Anyavila, to be totally not looking at any pleasure or anything like that. So of course some devotees are already there, but like the neophyte, those who are starting or who are
Correct.
going, how
Yes.
to reach there, right?
Yes.
Still living this life because we have to. Kids go to college, you have to pay bills, and if we just sit down and say, I know Krishna is taking care, Krishna is giving everything, but the outside people, they will ask the question, oh, you are like, I will just sit on my couch and then Krishna is going to provide me everything. Then you have to again say you have to do your karma, prescribed duties, right? So everything like that for the neophyte devotees, like of course I am also neophyte, I'm saying like when you preach to the starting level of people or like those who do not know Krishna at all, how
Right.
to tell them, they will not totally understand,
Right. Yes, Mataji. I agree.
That
When
is what I was.
to people who are completely ignorant, then you to start from there. But at the same time, when someone is just like, babies, little babies, when you give them food, they cannot digest hard food. You have to give them soft food. First, only mother's milk and
Right.
then soft food. But when they're able to digest, you start giving more also. We cannot just keep them on the milk level, right?
Yeah,
Like that. So higher also has to be given depending on how much they're able to take, because
right.
unless you give that, how they will go further? We cannot keep them always on that neophyte level, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what you said is perfectly correct for the neophytes, but I'm telling the next step
Next,
also, so
higher.
that you know the path, how to go, where to go, like that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So thank you, all of you. Thank you, Vasul Prabhu, for the nice question. So you can contemplate on that.
Thank you for the explanation, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Uh,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we will end here. It's past time. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much, Subhadra Mataji, for
No,
your
Mataji, that's just whatever I thought. Like I know people go through all these things.
right.
I know nobody is right there already, like in a very highly elevated position. So these questions always come, like how to deal. But that is what I was just saying. No, the philosophy is definitely there, and we have to remember that only. That is what is going to take us there. Other than that, it is very difficult. We cannot reach there. Very
Yes.
difficult. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very,
Thank
very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिद्धिभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.